A lot of people who watch these videos are a lot more interested in the causes and the solutions than I am. So when people ask me about the excuses, reasons for what's going on, I'm not really that interested in it, but I notice they all break down into three categories. At least I thought there were only three categories. The first is, one, Colin, it's not happening. You're just imagining it. The second is kind of related to the first. White people do it too. The third is, white people deserve it. That's getting to be really popular now because the first two excuses were kind of blown out of the water by YouTube because we know it's happening wildly out of proportion. We know white people aren't doing it too, and anywhere close to the same number of black people, and that's easy to show. We show that here all the time. So the third reason is kind of like white people deserve it. Okay, I can't argue with that one, right? I mean, if we deserve it, we deserve it. But all this time I've been saying there's only three categories. I forgot the fourth category, which is kind of an oldie but goodie, but still an important one. And I just saw it used this morning. My friend, I just saw it when I woke up, and I looked at my Facebook, timeline. And by the way, I do post stuff to Facebook once in a while. So if you want to go over there, and it's kind of an alternative, that right now is my backup in case anything weird happens here. So you could see it's WG Bleed a Lot on Facebook. White Girl Bleed a Lot. WG Bleed a Lot. Anyway, so I can't believe I forgot this one. This is like an oldie but goodie. If this guy goes to one of these old civil rights meetings where everybody congratulates each other for, being historical figures, and this guy's got to be in that group. The guy who invented the slogan, "It's a black thing you wouldn't understand." So, armed with our new excuses, armed with our more complete list of reasons, why don't we take a look at some recent videos and see if that helps us understand what's going on.
In Buffalo, authorities say they've cracked the 33-year-old cold case. The 92-year-old victim was a World War I veteran. He was found strangled in his home on Hastings Avenue back in 1983. A 50-year-old woman is now charged with 2 counts of murder.
Investigators say DNA and fingerprints helped them find the accused killer. News 4's Al Waters is live in downtown Buffalo with the latest in this case. Al?
Well, Jackie and Don, calling this a good day for justice. Prosecutors credited the determination of Buffalo homicide detectives and the advances in DNA science for cracking this 33-year-old cold case, leading to today's indictment. The sealed indictment was handed up, and 50-year-old Sandra Adams was arraigned on 2 counts of second-degree murder. Prosecutors accused Adams and an unknown accomplice of breaking into the home of 92-year-old Edmund Schreiber on June 23, 1983, tying Schreiber up and strangling the decorated World War I veteran with his own neckties. Adams was only 17 years old at the time. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Finnerty told Erie County Judge David Foley Schreiber's Hastings Avenue home had been ransacked and his body was found lying in his bed.
In Mr. Schreiber's bedroom, where his body was found, a fingerprint was found on a ransacked dresser. This appears to have been a burglary, which then resulted in the death of Mr. Schreiber. And the fingerprint on that ransacked dresser belongs to the defendant.
Mr. Schreiber survived World War I, but he did not survive those who, during the night of June 23, 1983, invaded his home, attacked him, and took his life.
Down in Corpus Christi, this dude killed this dude. The white dude is the owner of a popular gun shop down there. I don't know why he killed him. Why would I? It's a black thing. I wouldn't understand. Another recent case in Columbia, Tennessee. This black guy killed this white woman in front of her children. I don't know why, other than it's apparently some kind of black thing I'm not supposed to understand. Over in Mansfield, Ohio, stop me if you've heard this one before. This black guy killed this white woman. I don't know why. Maybe someone else does. Because it's a black thing I'm not supposed to understand.
A Berea man will spend 25 years in prison for raping an 81-year-old woman back in February. But there is much more to the story. Shanice Dunning was there in court and has the horrific details. Shanice?
Yeah, Denise, today the judge called this one of the most brutal rape crimes she's ever seen. A Berea man taking an 80-year-old widow as his victim. He pled guilty to 3 counts of rape last month, but today he learned his fate. We are concealing the victim's identity, but she told the court that he ruined these precious years of her life.
I don't want him near me.
I'm certain that he'll never be around you again.
Because I'm going to die then, you know. I'm skinny now and everything. I can't eat my lips.
An 81-year-old woman describes unimaginable horror at the sentencing of her rapist. She said last February, Jason Farmer forced his way into her Berea apartment and then he raped her.
So he put a hand on the door, on top of the door, and grabbed me here, make a big cut with nail. Then he put me like potato back on top and walked to the bedroom. That's when I screamed, "Help, help."
She said when she looked at his face, she realized she had seen him hanging around her building before.
I was so nice to him sometimes. I gave him $1 when he asked me.
During the assault, she begged him to stop, offering him all the money she had.
All I had is $11 to left, and he took it.
I never really understood the depth of her paranoia and anxiety until she began sharing with me her life story.
Her pastor also spoke on her behalf, explaining she's been a victim before. She grew up in Europe during World War II and watched Nazis kill her father. Then they took her to labor camps where she was repeatedly sexually abused. Farmer's attorney told the judge that a medical examination showed that he suffers from mental disorders.
I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be that much of a harm.
Judge Dina Calabrese called his crime one of the most brutal she's ever seen.
25 years in a rape correctional institution.
Again this evening with the arrest of a Meridian man in a shooting last week in Lauderdale County, where one person was killed and another injured.
24-year-old Diamante Scott is charged with murder and attempted murder in the case. He was captured over the weekend in Harrison County, and his name might sound familiar to you. We learn more about the suspect in tonight's top story.
Investigators say Diamante Scott is responsible for the Thursday night shooting on Whippoorwill Road that killed 31-year-old Krista White and injured another man.
He was apprehended in Harrison County this past weekend. He is currently at the Harrison County Detention Facility, where we'll be making arrangements to bring him back to Lauderdale County.
If Diamante Scott's name sounds familiar to you, it's because he made the news less than a month ago when his name came up in Corderia Steiner's aggravated assault hearing. Meridian police say Steiner was shooting at Scott when he hit a 6-year-old child.
Like I said, I still love Diamante Scott, and I love a lot of kids.
Police say Scott was arrested with Steiner in Tennessee earlier this year on another shooting incident. Calhoun says they've relied on help from the community and the second victim in this case to tie Scott to this investigation.
So there you have it. These are just a couple of the things that ended up in my email and in my timeline today. I've got a few more I'll be putting out later on. Let me see if we got a large-scale episode of Black Mob Violence where they attacked the little old white lady in Bushwick. That's in New York City, all on video. And we got a case of the knockout game down in Houston. We got a couple more murders, a couple more rapes, things like that floating around. I don't understand it. I don't really care to understand it. Maybe you guys do. Maybe that's more important to you. Maybe you're smarter than I am. You know all these causes and solutions, and that makes you happy. It helps you get to sleep at night. If so, hey, go ahead. I recommend some milk and cookies. That will contribute to the somnambulant effect that you are seeking. As for me, the thing that helps me get to sleep at night is just reminding people who are otherwise maybe not aware of this. Don't make the black kids angry.